Okay, Michelle, you look great, by the way.
Thank you.
How much weight did you lose in the house?
Sorry?
Did you lose a lot of weight while in the house?
I definitely lost 20 pounds in the house, 4 weeks on slop, and lots of exercise in the backyard. Does a girl good, so it was nice to be motivated by the boys to work out.
Oh, did you work out with Russell and Jeff?
Jeff, yeah, even Jesse helped give me some tips in the beginning of the game, so that was definitely, motivation helps a lot.
You look really good. Are you going to keep it up once out of the house?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try. I'm sure my hubby will like my new look.
So what do you think about the outcome of the game tonight?
I was definitely rooting for Jordan to win out of the remaining 3 people. She was my ally and best friend in the house, so if anyone was to win, I wanted to be her. Definitely not Natalie. We had some bad blood between us, and then Kevin, he's responsible for me leaving, so I didn't want him to win. I promised him if he stayed in the final 2, he would not win this game. So turns out he didn't. He left 3rd. So I was very pleased.
What were you thinking during your goodbye? During Natalie's goodbye speech to you, she said that you were a dirty, manipulative player, and this coming from Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
So, what were you thinking at that point? Sorry.
No problem. So I've been trained to believe that every word out of Natalie's mouth has been a lie. The more you call other people liars, dirty, devils, the more it really means you're a dirty devil. So hearing that out of her mouth, I was just like, you're calling one liar a liar. So, we're all liars in this game. I don't know why you're still trying to come off as a saint when you're not. She definitely didn't earn my vote in the finals with that goodbye message.
So why do you think everybody thought you played such a dirty game and you're such a manipulator?
I'm definitely not a good manipulator. If I was, I would have gotten myself closer to the end. There were definitely times where I was like, I should have manipulated people against each other, and I was often the one being manipulated in the game. I guess I was just scapegoated. The people calling me these names were in fact the people doing the dirty work in the house. So they had their fun at my expense, but I was a stronger person than they thought, and I was able to, rub off their nasty comments and continue with the game.
Now, you played down your PhD in the house. Do you think that was beneficial to you, or did it hurt your game?
At first, I was worried that if I went in the house and people saw me as Dr. Michele, they would compare me to Dr. Will and be like, she's got to go, she's way too smart, she's going to play this entire house. So I kept it a secret. Turns out that later in the game, my secrets were leaked when I told people, and then people were like, why didn't she tell us? That makes her untrustworthy. And so it was a little bit of a double-edged sword for me.
Who was your biggest rival in the game?
Let's see. I feel like Natalie was my biggest rival, even though she claimed to be an 18-year-old, and, not very good at any competition. She was very good at manipulating people. She was very good at instigating and getting under my skin, and she was very good at making deals to get herself out of the house, whereas every week I was always clawing to keep myself in the house, and she was able to, skate by with, a little devilish wink and, starting an argument.
Give us a sense of what the competitions were like. Hard, easy, what were they like for you?
Every competition was, 1,000 times harder than I thought it'd be. There was a lot of physical competitions. Holding onto ropes and swinging on them was, more difficult than I could ever thought. I ended up training a lot in the backyard to get buff for them because I felt a little bit out of shape in the beginning. Even the mental competitions. As a PhD holder, I thought I would do a lot better in all the mental games, and it turns out that stress or second-guessing yourself really played into it. I overthink things. I was my own worst enemy, and I think my smarts actually hurt me in the end.
Who do you think was, were the house guests threatened by you, do you think?
I definitely think that after my performance in the diploma HOH competition, where I was able to hang in with the boys and show off my strength, that they were worried that I was like a threat. I had the brains, I had the brawn, I can kick some butt, I have strong allies. They were starting to worry about me, and I think people wanted to get me out of the house for a long time, but my allies were in power for a while, and they had to wait until the very end to get me out.
What was your best and worst move in the game?
Okay. I think my best move was aligning myself with Jeff and Jordan because they did in fact keep me safe throughout the game when in fact they could have targeted me for eviction very early on. My worst move was divulging too many secrets about the final 2 deal I had with Russell to Jeff and Jordan. I trusted them over Russell, and in fact Russell probably would have taken me farther in the game than either of them would.
Will you keep in touch with anyone in the house?
I'm definitely going to keep in touch with Jeff, Jordan, and Russell. Anyone else, I'd be happy to, but they were my closest friends in the house.
And when you found out, or I guess when you and Russell figured out that he was going to be backdoored, why didn't you try harder to keep him in the house and convince Jeff and Jordan they were being lied to?
So at this point, I hadn't figured out that Kevin and Natalie had made up a story. I knew that, to get to votes, I either had to convince Jordan or Kevin to keep Russell in the game. Jordan, that was just not going to happen. And Kevin, I had a pretty good feeling that he didn't want Natalie out of the house, so I'm sure he had something to do with Russell being on the block and, trying to convince him to keep Russell, which is not going to happen since Russell was trying to target, Kevin. So everyone was against Russell at that point. I could have thrown in a sympathy vote, but then I definitely would have been the target the next week.
Okay, thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate it.